Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is the crazy cozy corner because there's books, there's me, and there's this comfy chair. So my name's Brianna and welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Today we're going to talk about my July reading wrap up and how many books I read and my rating of them. Are they good? Are they not? I don't know. Let's find out. So the first book we brought this month in was a dud. The book is called Acceptance. Maybe here, I'll put a little picture. And I rated it 3 stars. It's Acceptance by Jeff VanderMeer, and it's a series. It's the 3rd book in a series, and it didn't do it for me. Like, the first book was so good. Like, you could honestly just read it by itself. It is so good. But the 2nd and 3rd books, they just kind of progressively just didn't answer questions, didn't really, like, it just didn't give you a lot of information to work with. And there's like just a delicate balance that you have to ride with not giving too much information, and like you gotta show some of the information, not tell it. But there was nothing. There I like closure, and there was no semblance of closure. It was just a lot of like internal work. Sorry, I have my computer on behind my phone so that I can see what I've read. But yeah, that was a 3-star for me. I don't really have a specific system for the rating books. It's just, I'm a mood reader usually, and so it's kind of, if it hit me right at like the right time, it will get a higher rating. So never take my negative reviews or like lower stars, like take that with a grain of salt, just like with anybody else, because what I like in a book is totally different. Next up, Atlas of the Heart, Mapping Meaningful Connection in the Language of Human Experience. It's by Brene Brown, and I rated it 4 stars. Now, I mean, that's pretty high, but it's on, like I was just saying, like it was on a different scale than my fiction reads. I judge that very different because I enjoy fiction a lot more. This was a really great book. It talks about like your like different human experiences. So places you go when you feel rejected or something like that. I don't have the book with me. I borrowed that one from a friend, but it was really good. I personally have trouble with talking about my emotions because I don't know how to name them. So this book was just giving me more names to emotions and human experiences to help me. And read a 2nd book in a series called Reckless. That was a 2-star for me. Yeah. It's by Lauren Roberts, and I was so looking forward to it because the first one, Powerless, like it was awesome. It was so good. It was so good. At least I liked it because it just felt familiar, because it gave you the Red Queen vibes. It gave Hunger Games. It gave Blood and Ash. Just because, you know, well, for Blood and Ash, you know, the guy being really liking the girl threatening him. I'm like, I would have problems if someone I liked was threatening me. But, you know, this isn't reality. But this book just gave a whole lot of nothing. Like, it developed the relationship a little bit. But it wasn't it. Like, there was no plot development except for like at the very end. But how I likened it was to the Star Wars, a more recent Star Wars one, where it's like they play cat and mouse. Like, you get away, the Empire follows you, the rebels get away again, the Empire follows you again, and like that happened 2 or 3 times in the Star Wars movie, and that's just how this book felt. There wasn't a reason for this book to be as long as it was. And so like I said, I rated it 2 stars because it just, am I going to continue the series? Yes. It fell flat for the hype that it had gotten. Next, still in the same universe, I read Powerful, which is I guess you can read it along with Powerless, but it's also by Lauren Roberts, and I rated that 5 stars. It's a grumpy sunshine kind of trope, and it was so good. And like, even though if you've read Powerless, you know the ending, it's still like, it still gets you, because oh my gosh, that was it. It was the right time for me, and I ate that up really quick. And then next book, I rated 4 stars. A Spindle, Splintered. It is by Alix, Harrow, and it was a cute time. It was just a grand old time. It's a what is it? Sleeping Beauty retelling type, and it's a very interesting read. It deals with terminal illness. Is it terminal? I don't know if it's not technically terminal, but it's just an illness that will take, I guess I need to look up the term terminal to make sure that I'm using it correctly. I don't want to be insensitive, but yeah, it was a cute book. It was a grand old time. I loved the narrator. She just did very good at making sure the emotions were jumping through the phone at me. It was a cute time. Next, this was for school, but I counted it because I read it. So it's called Beginning Ethics: An Introduction to Moral Philosophy by Vaughn. I rated it 3 stars. It wasn't boring per se. It had very interesting concepts, and like helped me open my mind a little bit more to it, to seeing the way other people could possibly be thinking, because my moral philosophy isn't the end all be all, because I don't believe I am infallible. I believe there's I can be wrong. Don't tell anybody, okay? That's between you and me. Nobody else can know that I can be wrong. Like, it'll ruin my reputation. But I read it for school, so it's not like I had to enjoy it, but it was very informational. Would I say run out and get it? Not unless you want to study ethics, really. But yeah, that was Beginning Ethics. Next, I went to the library with a friend, and she recommended 2 books for me. One I had to personally not finish because it was a little bit too much for my taste, which is fine. But this next one, I was a little scared. It's called Psyche and Eros by Luna McNamara. Luna McNamara. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I will put up the correct spelling of her name or their name. I don't know. But I rated this a 3 star. Now hear me out. After like 100 pages, it got more interesting. But the first 100 pages, I think that was at least 10 chapters in, it was a little bit of a drag. It just a little bit. It was taking forever to get to the point. I don't really think a lot of the introduction stuff was incredibly necessary, or if it was, it could have been condensed down, or it was something. But once Psyche and Eros met, because I mean, you know this story, it's Greek mythology, like when they met, it started picking up, and there was more tension in the book that kept my attention. It was very interesting, but it definitely got a 3 star because it took a while to get my attention, but once it got it, like I finished the book pretty quick after that. Yeah, that was Psyche and Eros. Excuse me. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I love myself some good spoilers, but I know some people don't. So I will try not to do spoilers, and if I do, I'll do a little spoiler warning. I think I might just add one at the beginning of this just in case. That's more of a reminder for me. Maybe not even make it in the video. But yeah, so I don't even know what I was saying. We'll see. Maybe I'll have to come back on here. Next, I read another class one. It was the Ethical Obligations in Decision Making and Accounting by Stephen Mintz. There's also a second author, but I cannot see it right now. When I put up the picture, I'll make sure that both authors get their names in there. But again, another 3-star. It was fine, but it wasn't life-changing. It's just, I'm taking this class so that I can take my exams. That's it. that's all I'm doing this. It was a good refresher. Also, it's good to know the difference between ethical obligations and legal obligations, because sometimes there's things that are unethical and illegal. Some things that are ethical and illegal, because sometimes the law doesn't take everything into consideration. It's just a, like, I don't want to say general rule because that makes it seem like we can break the law, but I mean, we can, but it's not good. Don't break the law. But it's sometimes there's conflict there. There's also some things that are legal and unethical that lots of big corporations do because they're not going to get in legal trouble, but you don't really trust them because they're not doing what's best. And sometimes everybody has the different what's best. And so, but that was a textbook, but it's a book and I finished it. So that's fine. Next was The Cruel Crown, which is a prequel to the, Glass Sword? Red Queen? I don't remember. I think it's Red Queen. I don't know where the Glass Sword came from. Is that in the book series? I think so. But that's the Red Queen. It's Victoria Aveyard. Aveyard. Yes. I rated it 3 stars. It's a prequel and it has a few different stories in it, but I think it's just maybe 2 main stories. I think it's just 2 main stories. But one, it's about Cal's mom, Calor's mom, Tiberius Calor the 3rd or 4th. I can't remember what his the one that's the prince and Red Queen, not the Tiberius Calor, the king that may or may not do anything in the first book. Don't want to ruin that one. But it's about his mom, who was the king's first wife before he remarried someone with an E. I can't remember her name because I didn't like her. No spoilers, but I didn't like her. And then it was about the Scarlet Guard. Can't remember her name to save my life either, and I read this one. I don't have the copy anymore because I borrowed from my library. I went a little overboard when I went with my friend to the library. She gave me 2 books. I left with 12. Yeah, I went a little bit overboard. The next one I read, did I tell you? I rated that one 3 stars. I think I said that. It was fine. Didn't really add or detract from the series, really. It was just there. Yeah. The next one is another continuation. My top shelf has the... This is me trying to decide if I'm going to buy these books because I have the rest of the series. But, you can't see up there. But it's the Shadow and Bone series, the Grisha-verse. So the next 2 books, actually, are in the Grisha-verse. So that's Leigh, Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo. Or Leigh Bardugo. Yay, I said it. Okay. It was The Lives of the Saints. And I rated that at 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. It was a quick, fun little book. I'm sorry, trying to keep my computer on again. It was a fun little book. It was just cute. I mean, it wasn't really cute. It was a good time. There we go. It was a good time. There was, darker themes, obviously, because a lot of these saints were martyrs. And so it doesn't always have a happy ending, but I don't think every book has, or not every book in life has a happy ending. There's like mid endings is what I think I'm going to call them. It's like when it's more realistic, because, in the books, people get all the happy endings and happy ever after. And then you have reality where it's, there's happy times, but it's not maybe the ending everybody would have wanted, if that makes sense. But anyways, I rated that 4 stars. I thought it was a good time. It was like 100 pages, maybe a little bit more than that, like 120. It was good. It was cute. Now, this next one by Leigh Bardugo. Oh my gosh. It was The Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales and Dangerous Magic. So this one, she had written because she wanted to share the stories that the people of this universe might have heard or had been told. That's the same thing. Had told. There we go. And so it was a good time. It was another 4 star for me. The last one, that last one was so good. So good. Like, I was so rooting for it not to end the way it did, but I knew, because I read the, like, notes or acknowledgements or whatever, that the name translated to something, and so I was like, okay, so it's not gonna be how I want it to end, but it was good, and it was sad, and, like, these stories were, like, good and sad, and they just, like, they were just good. It didn't, like, give too many unnecessary details, in my opinion. It just kind of, like, told what needed to be told, and it was to the point. And I like things to the point. Sometimes fluff is good, but, like, when you're reading short stories, fluff doesn't necessarily add to it. But yeah, that was The Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales and Dangerous Magic. That was uncalled for. I did not roar at you. The next, okay, 5 star. 5 star. Made me sob. Made me feel things that I did not want to feel. It was The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I'm reading that for a book club, or I read it for a book club. I listened to the audiobook, so it was worse listening to it like through the audiobook. I don't know if it was worse or better, because I could actually, like, still hear it even though I was sobbing, but I wouldn't be able to, like, see it while I was crying. But I feel it's just so powerful. Like, just like the things women went through and the different wars, like the things they went through and the things they did and were, like, overlooked, is, like, crazy to me, because it's like a lot of these wars wouldn't have been won without the women, and the women that were at home taking care of everything while their husbands and brothers and fathers and all the men were away fighting war. Now, war is not good. Like, I wish we could just communicate with each other, and, like, I don't know, maybe that's just a woman thing. Not really. No, it's not just a women thing. I think we all are able to communicate, but sometimes we just don't choose to, because we just want to show that we're more powerful, and that really, really affects everybody in the world, honestly. War does not leave a place in the world untouched. And it was just this book. like, I could cry thinking, like, about it now, and I don't know if you could tell. It's fine if you can't, because I'm not a big fan of crying. Like, with people, oh, thank you. I'm not a big fan of crying with people around me, just not a thing, but it was just so heartbreaking and powerful, and just, like, just to think of the things people went through to just to protect their families during that kind of time. Like, everybody does something. Whether it's like not choosing to do something or choosing to do something that they're choosing. But the first sentence, I think, in the book is, you find out who you want to be in love, but in war you find out who you are. And that is so true. My computer went black. No, come back. Oh, it locked. Rude. But yeah, that was the Nightingale. Oh my gosh. Now the next one. This is just for me, like, the single girlies. It was called The Right One, How to Successfully Date and Marry the Right Person. It's by Jimmy Evans and Frank. We're gonna see who it's by. Frank Martin. I was gonna say Miller, but that didn't sound right. It was Jimmy Evans and Frank Miller. Now, this one is a, for lack of a better term, it's a religious book. So if that's not your yum, you can skip ahead. That's fine. I'm just interested in the world of dating, and with kind of like with the not rules, but the guidelines. I think the guidelines of the faith that I'm in. But it was a 4-star. It was interesting and informative. I think treating people with respect and kind of trying to understand. And there's certain questions I think for sure you need to be asking before you get married, so that these big things aren't coming up and you're not blinded by, like, certain things. And so I enjoyed it. It maybe will add to my life. We'll see. I got through it pretty quick. I found that for self-help books, if it's books that I choose to read, I can get through them quicker. But if they're books I'm told to read, it takes me a lot longer. So it was just something I learned this time around with it. I was like, oh, cool. Didn't realize that I actually could enjoy nonfiction books, because I'm a fiction girly. I really struggle with nonfiction sometimes. Nonfiction. Because some people aren't very entertaining. And when I'm reading, I know it's just probably my short attention span or my generation, but yeah, I gotta be entertained just to keep my attention. And the last book that I read, like, started and finished in the month of July, is The Darkest Star. It is a trilogy. The Origin, by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Armentrout. That is me sounding it out. Again, I will put her name up there, so I'm probably not doing it justice. She did the Blood and Ash series, and also I believe it's called Luxon. That was also a series that she did. I am, like, this the Origin attaches to the Luxon series, so I'm kind of reading them side by side. But I probably won't finish the series for a long time, because I have a lot of other library books to get through. But I rated it 4 stars. It was cute. Very YA. So it does read younger, and so just beware of that. But it was cute. It was a good time. You know, sometimes I'm all good with the, like, hiding everything. Like, I don't know. like, as I sit, like, when I rate the books, it's like immediately after I finish the book, but as I sit with them more, I kind of don't necessarily always agree with how I initially rated it, but it was a cute time. I don't want to give too much away about it, but it follows a girl named Evie, and she meets this guy named Luke, is what I'm gonna call him. It's Luc, but he goes, I don't want to go Luck, I don't want to go loose, so he's Luke to me. Feel free to correct me, but it was a cute time. It was not super deep, like some other things can be, especially like in more adult literature. I mean, sometimes not even in adult literature, but it was a cute time. I enjoyed it. But currently, I did borrow it from my public library, but I am reading Eragon. Ooh, you can see my ugly light. Eragon. Yeah, see? I'm reading this little baby because I wasn't interested in this type of reading when I was in school, and so it's caught my attention now because I think there's also a new book out. Eragon, Christopher Polini. He wrote a new one, I think, that came out. But it's funny because I have a bunch of friends that are rereading the series, and I didn't know that, and so now we're gonna kind of get together and talk about it, which I'm super excited about. But this is one that I've started, but I'm on page 35 of what, 500? Almost. It's like end of book 1, and so it is 497 pages, so about 500 pages. So I do not see myself finishing it within the next day, because this is July 30th. Welcome to my July 30th. Sorry, I just noticed that I had my Scooby stocking right there, and he's just gonna be there because where else would he be? In a box. Okay, it's editing Brene again. You haven't seen me yet because I thought I already did my outro. Don't have an outro yet, so we're gonna make this up as we go. Chewy, you gonna be a part of the outro? And back up. So thank you so much for watching and spending time with me. I had a great time. Let me know in the comments what books you've read, and if you've read any of the books that I have, and tell me what you thought of them. Like, subscribe, do your thing, share. It's just a good time to spend with you. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, I gotta wait. Ooh, goodness. Okay, ignore my eye. I probably need to put on my glasses because my eyes are straining. Okay, editing Brene here. Same outfit because this was a one-day take. I realized I missed a lot of books that I read. So I was talking about the Powerful and Reckless. I read Powerless this month as well. So I devoured this series. I rated that a 4-star. I also missed, I think I got, making sure, because, okay, I think there was just this one other one that I missed. The Prison Healer, I rated that a 5-star. I'm a little confused. That's Lynette, Noni, I believe. I don't know exactly why I rated it 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I think it's more of a 4-star read for me, but yeah, I already did the outro, so this is it. Yeah, missed a bunch of books, or a bunch of books, all 2 of them, but yeah, just wanted to add those in there. Peace out. See you next time. Love that you stayed to the end. Bye.